Along with St. Rose Hospitals, they have a human trafficking protocol. So when they suspect that something's going on, more than just a normal, I broke my arm, I don't know, my boyfriend hit me kind of thing, that it's looking more like human trafficking, they have a protocol that they're able to kind of separate that victim from their possible trafficker and give them services that way. The UNLV Dental Clinic will provide low-cost services to victims, neighborhood clinics, along with Nevada Health Centers. So Nevada Health Centers is the one that we usually use for our undocumented foreign citizens because they do not require that you have citizenship, and they will not require insurance. It's all grant and community funded. And then, of course, pro bono Medicaid providers. And one that we don't always utilize, but victims of crime compensation, is through the state, and they're able to cover some immediate costs. So I had worked with a girl, probably end of 2016, who was severely abused by her trafficker, her pimp. He beat her to the point where she was almost killed with a metal rod. And she was in UMC, and she didn't want to come forward, first of all, but then they kind of put the pieces together. And the detectives went out and talked with her, and she had a ton of medical bills. I think, I don't know, maybe up to like $13,000 or something ridiculous. And she had ongoing medical care because she had to have surgeries, and then she had to go to physical therapy and things like that. And Victims of Crime is able to provide funding for some, if not most, or all of those services until the insurance is able to kick in. Okay, so here's the fun part. These are all the people in the community that we're able to partner with. And again, I know you get into Center for Peace a little bit, all our collaboration. So Rape Crisis Center, Embracing Project, and FACT, we all partner together to serve the juveniles. And I'll leave that for Esther to explain. We refer out to West Care. Shade Tree is such a big help because when we have clients that need immediate shelter and we have nowhere else that they can kind of fit in, Shade Tree is awesome. They'll kind of take them in, they provide services, they have classes, and Marlene's gonna get into that, so I don't wanna steal that from you. But also Safe Nest, Safe House, Nevada Partnership for Homeless Youth provides services, a lot of really cool services for juveniles. Along with Shannon West, I really don't wanna get into it too much, but does anyone have any questions about any of these providers? Sure.
Well, I have regarding like Safe House. Assuming the pimp is still in the community, that he hasn't been locked up for something, how much of a problem is that he's determined to get the gal back? And are they automatically in safe houses during this period that all these things are being done?
Are they automatically in safe houses?
Living in safe houses?
Not all the time. It's really up to the survivor because everything is survivor-led. So if they have somewhere safe that they want to stay, so she asked about like safe houses and if with the pimp being involved and if he's not arrested yet. So if this survivor has somewhere safe that they want to stay and they know that their trafficker doesn't know anything about it and they feel that they're going to be comfortable there and they don't want to go to a shelter, of course I'm not going to force them into a shelter or a safe house or anything like that, but they are available there for them. Two of the locations are secret, I guess you could say, so people don't know where they are. And then they all have security. They all do the best job they can. They all do a really good job of keeping these women safe. They all set up safety plans. They have protocols, things like that, so that if a pimp does come around, if a trafficker does come around, that they have a protocol to follow up on that. Does that kind of answer your question a little bit?
Do the pimps, I mean, do they go looking for the gals, or are they just off to some whole new gal?
It really depends. So she asked if the traffickers, the sex traffickers, really go out looking for their victims or if they just kind of move on. I would say it's case by case. Sometimes because of that connection and maybe because they've been together for such a long time, that yeah, that trafficker is going to be out looking for them and they can be very violent about it, you know, very forceful, very manipulative about trying to find their girl and get her back, especially if they're afraid that she has a lot of information that she's going to tell the police. He might be trying to, you know, get that worked out so that she doesn't snitch on him. Other times, you know, if the victim wasn't with the girl or with the trafficker for a long time, then that trafficker might just count his losses, and there's so many vulnerable people, unfortunately, that he might just move on to that next one. So that's why safety planning in the beginning is so important, so we can kind of figure out what that situation looked like and kind of plan around it to see how we can help out and what's going to be the best protocol for that survivor. And then, I don't know if you guys noticed, but I switched pages, so here's a whole new list of other community providers that will help out in the different areas I talked about. Okay, so I think my time is about done, and I just want to say thank you. Oh, go ahead. Oh, that's a great question. She asked, what's the percentage of victims going back to that lifestyle? I would say, again, it's case by case. I feel like that's my answer for everything. But there's plenty of women who have been forced into it, and they're done. As soon as they're able to get out of that situation, they don't want to go back to it. But then there's others who have been in it, since they were 13, 14, and they were with that Romeo pimp. And they were led to believe that, this is their lifestyle and this is their love of their life. So of course, it might take them some time to get, out of that situation. Sure.
So you detailed 3 different types of pimps, but does one type circulate through all 3? Like, do you start out as Romeo, maybe a little CEO, and then end up gorilla, or do you always just stay Romeo?
I think there's a little bit, there's definitely, I would say, there's interchange between the Romeo and the gorilla pimp. There'll be Romeo at first to kind of drag the victim in, kind of that hook and bait and switch, but not always. So sometimes on the streets they kind of say, like, if you're a good pimp, then you don't have to use force kind of thing. I don't know what that's about. But yeah, so, the goal of every pimp is to be suave enough to be that Romeo pimp so that he doesn't have to put his hands on the girls and things like that. A gorilla pimp is somebody who might, be more forceful, trick them into it.
As a gorilla pimp, like I'm saying, if you're trying to season someone or whatever the terminology is, like I would assume if you're just outright aggressive in the beginning, you're not going to get a lot.
Well, and the whole goal of the gorilla pimp is to work on her fear. So a Romeo is going to play on her emotions of love and attachment and all things like that, and then the gorilla is going to work on fear. Like, if you go against me, I'll kill you, I'll kill your family, that, and that. So it can be interchangeable. A detective that we work with that was undercover for a long time, she's, I don't know, mid to late 30s now, and she says that when she was going out, because the men know that she's kind of more experienced, she's not going to fall for that, I'll be your boyfriend kind of BS, that they would approach her with the CEO kind of pitch. All we need to do is make $5,000, and then once we make that $5,000, you and me, we're going to start our t-shirt business, we're going to start our record label, we're going to start who knows what. I think the detective always talks about how one guy approached her and said, yeah, I'm going to make t-shirts, and Floyd Mayweather is going to buy them, and we're going to be set for life. Well, that was kind of his hook to draw her in, and that was never going to be the case, because all she was to him was that moneymaker. She was never going to be able to have that decision-making kind of level in his so-called company that he was starting. Anything else before I hand it over? Okay. Oh, yeah. Sorry.
Were they included in the email, and do you have a handout?
No, I do not, but if Ambrosia is okay with it, I can get it out to her so she can kind of distribute it. I didn't get that far. Okay, one more. Go ahead.
And so maybe we'll have to talk offline. I just hear a lot of the conversation about adults and children and sex trafficking, but just wondering how, with stripping in that industry, since you're already kind of using your body, and how much of that is interlocking and related? It's
very interrelated. So usually that is kind of a recruiting ground for traffickers. They will go there to try to recruit girls a lot with the Romeo type. They'll be their boyfriend, they'll recruit them that way, and then they'll start turning them out on the strip, the corridors, wherever else it is, whatever track that he is going to use. But yeah, they're pretty interrelated here in Las Vegas. Okay, thank you very much, guys. I appreciate your time. Go for it, Esther. Oh, do you need this? Are you a mover and a talker?
I'm a mover, but can I move with these too or no?
You can.
Yeah, that's fine. Hello? Oh, no, it's not. here. Yes. Good. Hey. Hi, Lina. Okay. Oh, that's the little thing. Okay. All right. My name is Esther Rodriguez Brown, and I'm from Mississippi. That's what I have an accent. No. No, I'm from Spain. Can you hear me good with this microphone? Good. All right, so I'm the founder of the Embracing Project. It's a nonprofit grassroots organization. You cannot get more grass than that. We're kind of the root of the grass. And we're very small, even though we do a lot of things. But I started in 2007. Actually, this is our 10-year anniversary, Denise. And I see a lot of people. Wow, okay. And we've been working with this population for over 10 years, although I started my organization to work with gangs. And somehow I end up in sex trafficking, right? Which is very related. But we started to teach the similarities between gangs and genocide. And then I find out that gangs were getting involved in trafficking as well, and it was kind of, I still working with the gangs, so we are a little bit unique because we work with the boys as well, so we have both sides of the fence, and sometimes I give us a little bit more information that you only work with one part of the equation. So because everybody shared a lot of information about statistics and what is the Romeo PIM and the CEO PIM and the gorilla and the gangs and all the PIMs in the world, I'm not going to get into it. If you have any questions, please let me know. If you don't understand my accent, bear with me. And this is, so I'm just going to talk straight about what we do at the Embracing Project. And our mission is a little bit hippie because we promote peace and higher consciousness. And oh, well, what is that? So we want to make a better world, and the way we do it is through services. And we also not only offer services to survivors of trauma, particularly sex trafficking survivors and also gangs, but we also give them the opportunity to become humanitarians, and I'm going to talk about that a little bit more later on. Do I have to point to the TV or no? Oh, look at me. So what are we doing? So where do I point? Doesn't matter, right? Okay, so what do? We do a specialized advocacy. We are every Wednesday in juvenile court with Judge Voy. I was a sexually exploited youth court administrator years ago. I put together a system in place for juvenile court, family court, metro, probation, parole, all the parties involved to come together. And especially for the crossover population, we have a lot of kids that are in foster care and then cross over to juvenile court and the other way around as well. So the idea was to bring everybody together around the table and make sure that we all talk to each other, because that's another thing that we don't do. We say hello to each other, but sometimes we don't talk too much. Other than that, and that's important when we work with this population. We have to be all on the same page. We do. We also do get involved in legislation, and as you know, in our state, is only every 2 years. Hopefully, one day we change that, and we do it every year. And we do holistic case management. A lot of the times, we work very close with Seeds of Hope, and so we don't duplicate services. So if they actually, they have more money than we do. So when we need birth certificates and all that, it's like, hey, Brittany, can you do that for us? So we always try to work with each other, and whoever have more resources, then we try to not repeat the type of work that we do. We do a lot with career empowerment. We have a program where we help the girls to do their resume. Actually, it's this pretty cool program that you just put your name and everything, and boom, your resume come there. Like, yeah, it's so cool, right? And the girls love it because you just fill the blanks. And also do, as well as Seeds of Hope, we do a lot of the witness support. And when the girls have to testify, we go with them to federal court or to the justice court, whatever is that the case is going on, and we be there supporting them. We are able to get into the courtroom with them as well. And we have access to education. I'm going to talk about the Center for Peace in a little bit, but why not now, right? Yeah, the Center for Peace. I have a drop-in center right there in Pecos and Charleston. It's called the Center for Peace because remember we promote peace. And because I'm such a small nonprofit, I was like a homeless nonprofit, and until 2013, I was doing services through my car in the streets. So literally, I was running the streets myself as well, in a different way. And I didn't have money to rent a place, so I told a couple of partners, I'm like, what about we get together and we do like a commune? And we put money at the end of the month, and then we can pay our rent, and we can pay. And they were like, yeah, why we don't do that? I'm like, yeah, exactly. Why we don't do that? So let's do it. So that's what we did. And I don't touch anything. Oh, okay, I didn't do that. I didn't do that. So at the time, the former director of Seeds of Hope and Danielle from the Rape Crisis Center, they were the two that were brave enough to get with my craziness, and they were like, okay, well, let's put money and do it. I got a location in Pecos and Charleston, and we started small, and right now we have a lot of partners. Among them, we have FACT, and we have also UNLV, and we have Planned Parenthood, and we also partner with Crossings, St. Jude's, and with Marlene, and I just know the names of the people who run the thing, right? Yeah, Marlene from Shade Tree, exactly. But we have a school in the center. We partner with Lincoln County. And so we have a teacher from Monday to Friday, and we have a school with is an online school. Actually, don't tell this to my girls. They only are obligated to come once a week, but we tell them that you have to be here every day, right? And so that's by law. You have to be here every day. Your PO gonna get you. So they come from Monday through Friday, and they start at 10 o'clock, because what teenager want to start at 7 o'clock? Come on, I don't even want to go to school at 7 o'clock, right? The brain is not functioning. So we want to do it the way that we don't set it up for failure. If they don't going to be there at 7 o'clock, why start at 7 o'clock? Let's start at 10, which works for me too, right? So at 10 o'clock, they there, the teacher is there, and they do a high school diploma, if that's what they want to do, or they get their high set. It's very good because it's a small class. They have the individualized attention. They can take breaks and make some noodles in the microwave every 15 minutes. And we have 3 squares. They give us the red boxes so we can feed the kids as well. So they learn, but they learn at their own pace, and they can even listen to music if that's how they want to work, and that's okay with us. So we try to make sure that they're successful in their way. We don't impose anything, because they have a lot of people telling them what to do. So we don't want to be one more to tell them what to do. And then the drop-in center that I just tell you what we do. Apart, we have a support group. I don't know if you, it was a huge case about a girl who was dropped basically dead in the parking lot in the Pengad Life, in Robert Sharp, I think was his name, and he gonna do life without the possibility of parole. So she worked with us, and she's now 21, and she went through a lot. She had like 30-something broken bones. One of her fingers had to be amputated. She went through a lot. She went through a lot of therapy, through a lot of training, and she's ready to start a survivor group for our younger girls. So we're gonna start a survivors group, Denise, and we're starting in May, and that's something that is very important, because it's important to bring them together. A lot of times, somebody was asking how many times they go back or something like that. Sometimes it's very addictive. The streets are addicted, and you have that false sense of freedom, and that false sense that you belong somewhere. And you want to go back to the streets, and they have that craving, like when you crave for drugs. And if you don't have somebody that is there with you along the way, and along the way can be years. We have girls that we start working when they were 13, and now they're 20-something, and we're still working with them, because you cannot undo in a year what maybe has been done for 15 years. So it's a very long road. And even the ones that are doing good and they have jobs and stable, sometimes they have flashbacks, and they need that constant support all the time. What we do also, we do therapy through Rape Crisis Center. In fact, they come to the Center for Peace, and we do therapy through them. survivors groups, humanitarian opportunities. In 2009, I do work in other countries in Liberia, Uganda, India. I just was in the Dominican Republic, and I visit a couple of organizations, so that's my next adventure. And I give humanitarian scholarship to the girls when they are excelling and they doing good and they don't come high and or get pregnant because they cannot travel. For, you understand why I cannot take a 7-month pregnant girl to Africa, because it won't be a good idea, right? So when they do what they need to do, we give them humanitarian scholarships and we allow them to become part of the solution. And yeah, this happened to you. Okay, well, we put you in all these programs and all these things, and now let's give back to the world. And they love it. In 2009, we took 6 girls to Liberia, our first group, and now all of them are in their 20s, and all of them are doing great in college, and it changed their lives. The possibility to help another human being, it creates amazing opportunities for yourself, and I think is the best way to boost their self-esteem, to let them know that you have a purpose in this planet. Also, we do a lot of strength-based activities. We just got Yelp, that thing that you go and put reviews. But we got the microgrant, and we decided to do a garden in our office. But why not, right? Because outside is so hot to garden in Las Vegas, like 120 degrees. We want to plant tomatoes. And so we do it in our office, and we're going to have little macetas. I don't know how you say that in English, but pots, I guess, that you call that. And then they going to grow greens, and they're going to be able to take it home, and we're going to do salads, we're going to do tomato, and, we're going to raise things that they can take home, and we can eat there as well. And at the same time, we teach them goal setup, and we teach them that it's not everything like, hey, how you doing? Because they text all the time and they think that magically things happen in a second, right? Young people don't have patience. So part of the gardening is also helping them to set up goals, and if you wait and if you take care of something, eventually it gives you a nice result. We do a lot of nature field trips, and we take them to Wreck Rock, and we take them to a bunch of places. Journaling, we give them opportunity to become speakers if that's what they want to do. Some of our girls, when they turn 18, they say, I want to give back, and I want to do what you do, Miss. I'm like, okay, fine. So let's see if you're ready. And sometimes they are, and they like to share and to do training, and we allow them to do that with us, which is in a safe environment. And we do meditation because a lot of our girls, they have a lot of anger because of the trauma buildup, and meditation is a very good thing to do. If you don't, try. I was a very angry woman, and look at me now. Also, we do a lot of consultancy for other organizations. Nevada Partnership for Homeless Youth just got a grant through OJJDP, and one of their consultants, OJJDP is the Office for Juvenile Justice Delinquency Prevention, is a fancy name that the federal government put. And I'm one of their consultants, so when they got the grant, I'm doing all their trainings, and when they have, it's for a prevention, it's a mentoring program that they do along with the LGBTQ Center and the Big Brothers and Big Sisters. So we do training, and we do consultancy in specific cases. We do leadership coaching, self-care training. If you work with trauma victims and survivors, please take care of yourself, because if you are not in a good situation, you won't be able to help other people. And vicarious trauma is a serious, and is a reality. We think that we can keep going, but vicarious trauma is serious. And we do a lot of different strategic planning with other organizations. We, in 2016, we saw over around 281 community-based clients. I also go every Wednesday to juvenile detention. I've been doing that for years and do classes inside of detention. And we get referrals from everywhere, from court, parole, probation, school, other organizations. We have girls from everywhere. This is the map from 2016, and girls come from everywhere to Vegas. So they bring them here, and most times somebody was asking about safe house. Unfortunately, we do not have a safe house. We do not have a safe house for adults other than the houses that are provided through Shade Tree and Safeness. And we do not have a safe house for juveniles other than juvenile detention. So when a girl is picked up by a vice officer, in order for them not to run away again or do not get back to the pimp, they are being put in juvenile detention, which that is our safe house. Yeah. So I think that's basically, oh no, it's more, Center for Peace. This is all our partners, what I already told you, and I'm not gonna repeat myself. So what you can do a lot of things, but some of the things that I would like to share with you. Number one is value the people who work in the field. A lot of times, and I know some faces here and some others I don't, but if you are in the nonprofit world and you work specifically with one population, it doesn't matter if it's these domestic violence gangs, they think that we don't have to put gas in our car. Actually, my car is electric, right? So I don't have that problem. But they always ask us to do free stuff. If we keep doing free stuff, we cannot keep servicing our clients. So when you see nonprofits that they doing the work, validate that they doing the work and help them. When you meet a survivor, validate that they survivors. And when you meet experts, whomever are the experts, so validate their expertise as well. I think that's important. Educate yourself and pass the knowledge. It's important that we all share the things that we know. Avoid re-victimization. You're working directly with this population or any other population that are being traumatized. If you don't have to know the story, just don't ask, because they have to explain the story so many times that it's not need to explain it again. It's like when you get drunk and vomit and it hurts you so much in your stomach and in your throat. Come on, don't say you never got drunk, right? Right, so yeah, don't do that if you don't have to. And do not contribute with exploitation of any kind. For example, hey, will you talk for me and my organization? And, you know, if they don't want to be speakers, for example, I'm talking about survivors, don't use them if they don't want to, because I think that's also something that with a good heart people do, but I think that's something that we can avoid and not re-victimize. And of course, if you know somebody who contributed, report it. If you know somebody who is soliciting sex for a minor, please call the police and put them in jail. Also be open-minded and do not judge. A lot of the times people keep using the, well, it's a choice, or why they go back, or I can believe that, you know, how many times. I mean, you know, as long as you are in their shoes, then we never know why they go back. We never know if he's, sometimes, like I have a girl that she testified against her pimp, and she was, you know, the pimp went to jail, and then 3 weeks later, she was with another pimp. And I asked her, I said, why are you back with another pimp? She said, well, he's not that bad. He only hits me once a month. So it is a journey to recovery. So again, sometimes we have to meet them when they are. We never know why they do what they do. Be aware of the signs and be part. If you have children here, if you mothers and fathers, be part of your children's life, because believe me, you're not part of their life, somebody else will be. And be positive. Be a positive model in somebody else's life, and be a role model, and donate to the organizations that do the work. For example, the Embracing Project, why not, right? And this is my information in case you want to donate. And thank you very much. You have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask me. I know you're hungry and ready to go. All right. Okay, yes, you, there. So we start from, the youngest that I had was a 9-year-old girl from another country. She was a domestic servitude victim, but we start around 13, and then if they need services, we keep them until they adults. But our population is only minors. We only work with minors. So if somebody gonna refer a client for the first time, it has to be under the age of 18. Yes. You're welcome. Good. I'm so smart.
take a break. So, so it's about 2:30 right now, maybe around 2:32. We'll get back together at 2:46. See you guys soon.